I think if we took a more progressive approach to especially substance use issues, we could actually save a lot of money as a country because there's a cheaper way of dealing with the issue rather than throwing people in jail for being sick.
Yeah, you tell me about it. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. It's been a while. You know what I mean, since we've hung out and seen each other and whatnot. I mean, what have you been up to, and what qualifications do you have to be on the Crisis Club podcast?
I can go through all the paper qualifications as far as degrees and work experience and stuff, but quite honestly, I think what makes me most qualified is I'm a very voracious reader, and I, like you, tend to internalize the problems of the world, and I think what drives me the most is probably I just don't like not understanding things. So when something is happening in the country and it just doesn't make sense to me, I seek every avenue possible to learn more about it. So, for example, after the financial crisis, I really had no idea what had happened. So I've spent the last 3 years or so pretty much reading every book about the Great Depression I can get my hands on, financial derivatives, investing, the basically misallocation of wealth in this country. And I feel like I have a pretty good grasp, at least more than most people do at this point. So I guess it's just I'm a really curious guy, always have been, and I guess that's how we ended up having this conversation right now.
Yeah, I guess you and I do have that in common, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I can relate to that. You know what I mean? And again, sometimes me and Pat talking about the Crisis Club and talking about, just talking about it, we start to discuss, ideas and put them forth in a way where we have to like explain certain things or feel as though we have to explain certain things, and all of a sudden I'll just stop and I'll just be like, wait a minute, you either get it or you don't. You're either
Right.
in the Crisis Club or you're not. You either stumbled upon my website and you need to get the fuck out of here, or you're into it. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
and I think that's what actually made us friends in the first place is, I mean, we came from a group of people where the one common thread we had was we just weren't happy with the state of things. And, I guess we probably went about it the wrong way at times as far as expressing our distaste for the state of things.
yeah, I think I probably still do in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. That 22-year-old punk still comes out where I randomly yell at people, and I probably could have engaged them in a different manner to actually get my point across. But
Yeah.
I think that was the common thread that brought us together in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing throughout my entire life, there's a couple, but so there's a couple things throughout my entire life which has been a constant, you know what I mean, or a near constant, and one of them is just plain dissatisfaction. For whatever reason, I am just dissatisfied. I
Yep.
always feel like I could have done better because I could, because I can, because you can, because we can always do better. And within that, I have discovered this principle, if you will, that we are all capable, we all have limitless potential for greatness. I believe that each and every one of us is capable of doing great things. And I also believe that, because we are free, because we are truly free and self-determined individuals, that we could do anything we want and should be encouraged to do what we want, and should definitely be encouraged to explore ourselves to find out what we are best suited to do. Because, you can be an astronaut or a race car driver or what have you. Everyone wants to be something special when they're young, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you can do anything, or you can, your journey can take you potentially anywhere. I do believe that everyone's attributes, best suits them towards one specific, version of themselves, and we're defined by what we do. You know what I mean? Jesus, could build furniture. He was a carpenter. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's what he was. But so you are what you do. And I believe that the attributes we have, and even our character defects, make us best suited for one specific thing, and that's sort of what life is about, is finding out what that thing is and then working towards it.
So yeah, I don't necessarily agree it's like one specific thing, but I guess what I would add to what you're saying is, yeah, I too agree that everyone has the same natural capabilities, or there isn't that much variance. But I do think we are in a system that's in effect a stacked deck. So I know what brought you to make Crisis Club in the first place was what you saw as an erosion of freedoms, and it seems like you've really taken an approach of this is what the Constitution says and this is what the government is doing, which is counter to the Constitution. But for me, I guess what's always driven me is what really limits people's freedom more than anything else is the stacked deck that is our society. And it starts really early too. Like even if you look at something silly like standardized test scores, the biggest determining factor of standardized test scores is your parents' income, and it has been ever since the advent of those things. So I mean that right there tells me that there are children who could do wonderful things with their life, but they're never really afforded the opportunity. And that's a thing that I really hate when I hear the Horatio Alger type stories, or honestly even like Barack Obama's story. Yeah, it's great. He lifted himself up against all odds, but he had very educated parents who valued education and had time to invest in him. And a lot of children that come from less means do not have that. So they're at a disadvantage right to begin with, and they never have the opportunity to realize that potential.
Right. And that dissatisfies you, and rightly so.
That actually angers me. It's more than dissatisfaction. It's the thought that puts me into a rage on a daily basis.
Yeah, Pat and I, we tend to run across people who feel as though they've been similarly, they're similar in that they feel as though by using their Facebook, for example, to share links, things that anger them, things that they feel dissatisfied about, and also things that they feel everybody should know, and then take it upon themselves to share it, right? That it sort of makes you feel a bit like a pariah, and it doesn't take long for friends and family to, maybe begin to drop you off their friends list, or you start to, the comments start to affect you, and you just start to feel, that your opinions and the things that you're trying to bring to people's attention is just not appreciated.
No, absolutely. And actually, just this last summer, I did a little experiment where I put an article up, and I don't remember what it was about, but I just thought it was something that was unbelievably important. And it basically seemed like it went through everyone's news feed on Facebook, and there wasn't a single comment or anything. And I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I just said, I can't believe this. If I put something so stupid up, there would be a string of comments almost instantly. So I just told her, watch this. I'm going to put the first line of Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart on there. And within about 8 posts, the rest of the song was on my feed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that stuff really upsets me, and it's just kind of, I feel like I do that stuff out of altruism, like you should read this, you should know this is what we're facing, and then when it just gets kind of brushed aside and not even acknowledged,
yeah.
Like, you saw a nice article, and actually, if I had gotten deleted as a result of that article, I would have been like, well, at least someone did something about it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that brings us to this idea that Crisis Club for us we wanted it to be this avenue for people that felt that way to come and feel as though, this is your home. You know what I mean? We are a home for people who feel like that, because it does feel lonely. So I guess I don't know. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. And talking to Pat earlier, he had something I noticed on a conversation that we had before that we recorded. He said, "We're your family now, bitches." And at the on our website it says the Crisis Club, waking mother effers up. And I was like, well, that's our new deal. We're your family now, bitch. So I was like, you need to switch that or whatever. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny because it pretty much sums it all up, So we have this idea that this forum, this avenue, this thing called Crisis Club, could be this place where people that feel that way can come to sort of get recharged, and then together we can share ideas about how to be more effective, about how to, these principles that we have and these ideas that we share and whatnot, how we can just share them more effectively. And a friend that you and I have in common, Mr. Shaw,
Mm-hmm.
he actually, I don't know that he really realized the effect that he had on me when he did this. But he told me to literally shut the hell up, to stop posting so much stuff, and then he basically broke it down and said, "Look, man, I used to read, and look at every single post, every single link that you posted on the internet. Now you're just oversaturating your wall with information." And I was. He's like, "Man, you gotta leave people wanting more."
Right. Yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah, and that right there is a good example, and it was painful to hear at first. It's not what I wanted to hear. And I don't normally take stuff like that personally anyway, but it was kind of painful to hear, and I got angry and I internalized it and thought, well, how am I gonna react to this, and it's got to be smooth, you know what I mean? But then I just realized, well, he's right. My wall is oversaturated even for me. So somehow, if you really want to, what is it that we're trying to do here?
Right.
Now, ultimately, this is a, pseudo internet talk show type of deal. So
I don't think it's so much pseudo. I think it's an internet talk show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks for that. I guess that stems from my own insecurities there. But it just is what it is. So, and I find myself getting really, really wrapped up in this idea of like, well, we're not saving the world. We're not affecting change. We're not saving the world, and it's like, well, you're not going to save the world.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe not, but I mean, to me, it's just kind of irrelevant. It's just trying that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking about basically, like I had said, I don't want to create the wrong impression. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sell off everything that I own and then hit the road and Incredible Hulk it. You know what I mean? Where I'm just going to minus the superpowers, where I'm just going to hitchhike from town to town. And
Kane and Kung Fu.
Yeah, and basically be this, be a homeless person. That's not what I intend to do. I just mean that, I think I need to spend some time just sort of traveling or whatever, because my entire life I've been looking for a place to call home, and I have yet to find it. And I'm going on 30, relatively soon here. And I don't know, I'm just getting really, I've got these emotions that I can't quite, I just don't know how to, I don't know if it's I don't know how to deal with them, or I don't even know how to identify them, but I'm really, kind of breaking down. I mean, I don't really know what else to say, man.
Well, when you're talking about discontent, I think we all have a tendency to change what's immediately around us, whether it's a geographic location or like a girlfriend or a job or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
But in my experience, usually the stuff that you have to change is something inside you, and no matter how many times you move or change jobs or whatever, if you're discontent, the root cause of that discontent's what needs to get fixed, not your zip code.
Yeah.
But I will say that the more you travel, the more perspective you get, and it does make you a better person. So if you just think you need some personal improvement, by all means, pack up and move around for a while.
Well, how I honestly feel about it is this. I definitely think that, for me, traveling is going to be a good thing. I definitely feel like this isn't home, and I'm never really going to feel that sort of satisfaction that I'm looking for, and that feeling